Visiting with Jody Goetting, former basketball manager from 79 to 80 season. He's back on campus. We'll get into the reason why here in just a minute. But I guess the first thing, let's tell some former players and Panther fans what you've been doing for the last 40 years, if you can sum it up in 50 words or less, and where you're living right now.
Well, I can probably do that because it's pretty easy. I spent a little over 25 years in prison after I left school. Fortunately, I did get to go home every night. I was working in the Department of Corrections in Illinois, and was kind of a sports director for the prisons. Provide something every day, like running a Parks and Rec department for a city is basically what it amounted to. But that's what I did for a career and loved every minute of it. Saw some interesting things, but that was my career after I left Eastern. And retired in 2014, and since then I've thought about going back to work many times because I need to slow down a little bit. But just get involved in a lot of things since I've retired, and the main thing I guess is working at the World Shooting and Recreation Complex in Sparta, Illinois. It's the largest shooting facility in the world, and work there whenever we have shoots going on as a supervisor over scores and loaders and whatever needs to be done for a shoot.
And you live in Pinckneyville?
Live in Pinckneyville, Illinois for going on 20 years now.
Yeah. Tell me about your family.
I have two children, a daughter that lives in the Denver, Colorado area. My son is in Alabama. And I have three awesome stepchildren. The oldest one lives in Pinckneyville. The middle one lives in Edmonds, Washington, and the youngest lives just outside of Austin in Lago Vista, Texas.
You got some great places to go visit then, don't you?
And that's where we're headed Tuesday, to Colorado. So, yeah, where our vacation spots are just rotated amongst the kids.
Okay. And the reason you're back here today, partially the reason, is to be involved with the Six-Man Club, and through that, some former players have been very, very nice to endow a scholarship in your name that will benefit a student manager today and in future years, because you served as a manager, and that's pretty neat to be honored by these former players.
It's absolutely amazing. When I got a call to meet up with the guys in Springfield, I just thought it was a get together for lunch and a few beers, and while we're sitting there they told me what they had started, and tears were flowing from me and those guys, and to think that 40 years after we graduated from here that they still thought enough about me and what I did to do something like that. So it's just amazing, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to help some other managers help them get through school. You know,
a job as a manager, well, there's a lot of behind the scenes people that help make a basketball or an athletic program successful. None more than a team manager, yet it's kind of a thankless job. What prompted you to, I don't know if I should use the word apply, but to become a manager?
Well, after my sophomore year, when Eastern went to the Final Four in Division II, I knew the manager at the time was graduating. So at the end of that year, I came in and talked to Coach Bud Scott about being a manager the next year. And he explained to me that they preferred to have, PE majors that were going into coaching or something like that, but he said, come back in the fall and we'll see. So when I got back to school, I went and talked to them, and they hadn't had anybody else come in. So they were getting ready to start doing like their preseason things and needed somebody just to open the door to get to equipment and stuff like that. So essentially I was the last resort, or the only resort, because nobody else applied that was going into coaching. And so I was the lesser of no evils, I guess, because nobody else came in. So that's how I got started.
Your timing was good. This was 79 and 80, a good time when Eastern was a perennial power in Division II. What are your best recollections of those years? The coaches were Don Eddy and Bud Scott, which you mentioned.
Right. Just the camaraderie amongst the guys, for one thing. You don't think about it at the time because you're so busy during the season, but the traveling that I got to do, I was the only manager that got to travel. So we had I think a 16-seat plane that we traveled on all the time, and so that was quite interesting, and lugging all the equipment around and all that stuff. But it was a unique opportunity to be involved at that level in a college sport.
Yeah. How about the least desirable duty that you had being a manager?
Oh, that one's easy. When we'd have Thursday, Saturday road trips, I got to do laundry in a hotel laundry room, so I'd be up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning after a Thursday night game doing laundry to have clothes to wear for Friday practice and Saturday games, then the rest of that road trip. So, yeah, spent a lot of quiet time in the laundry rooms.
Your wife's over here. I need to bring her on camera and ask her if you still do the laundry or if those days are long gone.
He does.
Occasionally I do.
Yeah.
Not as often as I should probably, but a little bit is done. But yeah, there's not many days go by I don't remember those things.
Yeah, so if someone came to you right now and asked for your advice, somebody that's 18, 19, or 20 years old, do I want to become a manager? What advice would you give them?
I would say absolutely. If it's something that you're interested in, you've got to be willing to do a ton of behind the scenes things. If you're wanting to be in the limelight, that's not the thing for you. But if you're interested in being involved with the program and you're not good enough to be a player, absolutely go for it.
Let's catch up a little bit, Jody, with your current lifestyle. What do you do in leisure time? It doesn't sound like you have a lot, but at any rate, what activities do you have?
I am lucky enough that my wife has kind of joined me in the kind of landscaping type interests. We don't have a business or anything like that, but we have, through word of mouth, we'll clean up people's shrubs or yards or whatever and do things like that. I work for a local restaurant that has a adult beverage contract with the state fairgrounds near us, and so anytime there's some kind of event out there, I work for them and then work at the shooting complex, as I mentioned earlier still.
So I'm getting this right, the leisure time is all revolving around work of some kind.
Basically, yes.
But
I feel guilty when I stay home and don't have anything going on.
Yeah, keeps you vertical and moving forward.
That's right.
So when you're not visiting family, is there any vacation spot you and your wife really enjoy?
Well, as we talked about earlier, our kids live in awesome areas, so we just basically take turns. Whenever we are able to travel, we go to one of them, and then usually once a year we'll go somewhere with my brother and his wife to a location that they're going to. They have timeshare things, so we tag along with them, and so that's our only non-child visiting probably.
Yeah. A question I ask of players that may pertain more to them in this pop culture. Anything that you're binge watching on Netflix or other streaming channel, or doesn't sound to me like you have much time to sit down and watch
by the time we call it a day and get done with supper and get cleaned up, we get in our chairs and we'd only last about a half hour, 45 minutes. And so one episode of some kind of show is about it.
And then you're asleep in the chair.
Right.
Yeah.
Have to wake up so I can go to bed.
That sounds very familiar. Yeah. Another question I ask everybody, any 3 people that you would most like to have dinner with, who might it be and why? And I realize that's always a tough question for people, because that's one a little bit off the wall that they really haven't thought about.
Yeah, the wheels are really turning, but without hesitation, I can say my dad. He's been gone since '03, and he was actually the best man in my wedding. That's how much I thought of him. And there's not a day goes by that I don't think of some bit of wisdom that he imparted or that influences decisions that I make or something on a daily basis. Don Eddy would be another one. He became my dad when I spent 5 years in San Antonio when he was down there, and that was my Texas dad, so to speak, because I could pretty much go to him with anything, and it was tough being that far away from home, but Don and Elizabeth treated me just like one of their 3 kids, and so it made life bearable while I was down there. As much as I think about it, and I don't mean to sound corny, but the third person would be my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and ask him something. Why do you allow some of the things that you allow, or why do these things happen to good people, or something like that? But that would be the 3.
Final question. Sports has been a major part of your life. What one sporting event would you most like to attend?
Well, as I think about the 3 or 4 major sports, football, although I never played it, I was here when Eastern won the national championship, and I'm an avid Arizona Cardinal fan from when they were in St. Louis. And even though they moved and caused a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth, I'm still an Arizona Cardinal fan, and so it would probably be the Super Bowl just to see the peripheral things behind. I guess that's the manager part of me, is everything that goes on behind the scenes to get to the actual game, but probably the Super Bowl.
And let's hope that you can win the tickets that Mike Shanahan has provided. That's a pretty neat connection because he was the offensive coordinator on that 78 team.
Yeah, that would be an awesome experience, and then being in Arizona makes it even better. Being my home team town.
Jody, thanks for the visit. Thanks for being back on campus with us. Again, congratulations on the manager position endowed in your name, and it'll go to a very good cause.
I appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate the players that have contributed to the scholarship fund, and I hope we can continue it for many years.
Go Panthers!
Yes, sir.